Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our today's session on Bhagavad Gita. As you know, as the year comes to end, and probably the next class we will have on 1st January, we thought it is appropriate to take a look back at where we stand as far as learnings in Bhagavad Gita are concerned. And so, with that in mind, what we decided to do today is to arrange for an interactive session wherein we will discuss about our understanding of Bhagavad Gita. We'll go through various themes of Bhagavad Gita and we'll discuss what is the general principle that we are learning from those verses and from that theme, and how can we apply them in a practical way. So parallelly, we will have a Word document and an Excel document open, and as you all will tell, we will try and insert data into our file so that we prepare a document for ourselves or for our reference, so that our learning of Bhagavad Gita doesn't theoretical at doesn't remain at theoretical level. We actually go to a more deeper practical level where we draw for ourselves some points for implementation, not only just keep ourselves limited to chanting few verses and telling few meanings, and it remains high level, dry, and practically not useful so much into the day-to-day life. So we'll try to bring that knowledge, make it more accessible to us, and by putting it into a file which we can share later on with everyone. All this started because Krishna said in his last verse of the 16th chapter that we were studying, that tasmat tasmat shastra pramanam te karya akarya vyavasthito. What does it mean is that one should therefore understand what is duty, what should be done, what should not be done, what is prescribed duty, and what is not your prescribed duty, what should not be done. Now, these things require discrimination, analysis, and ultimately discrimination, and then leading to a decision that such and such thing should not be done, and such as such thing should be done. And what basis? Not what basis, what I think. We participate in general discussions with people around us, and everybody is so eager to put forward what they think. This is according to me, this is right. According to me, this is true. This is what I saw. This is what matters to me. This is what is important to me. Everything that starts from me has four defects built into this. Why? Because this nothing that will start with me will be perfect. I, me, myself, whatever will come after that will be imperfect. Why? Because of the four defects that all of us possesses. um, we have ability to make mistakes. We make mistakes. We have a propensity to cheat, so that I become glorious, I can become famous, everybody respect me, everybody likes me. So there's a propensity to cheat, and these are built into our material body. So our senses are imperfect. Now we can hear only up to a particular point. We can't see things beyond a particular range, and smaller objects we need by microscopes, and so on and so forth. So these are some defects, that there is a propensity to cheat. There are imperfect senses. Then we make mistakes. We genuinely make mistakes. We commit mistakes, and nobody is can claim that they have never made mistakes. So we make mistakes, and then the fourth one is, um, we get illusioned very easily. It's not we are not Even if we don't want to, we can get illusion. We can see water on in the desert, where in the hot sunny afternoon, when there is no water, we'll see water there. So we get illusion, we get dreams, and illusion is part of our setup, our the way we are built. This material body is built, and this psychophysical nature is provided to us. We are born with all these four defects. So therefore, whatever, no matter how intelligent a person is from the world point of view, whatever will be spoken by him, if it is his opinion, it will be subjected to these four defects. But Krishna's is not from this world. Krishna doesn't is free from all the four defects that we discussed just now, which means then whatever will be spoken by Krishna will be perfect knowledge. And more so, because the whole world is created by Krishna. Krishna understands the nitty-gritties of this world the best. It's that it is said that the person who has manufactured a machine only can tell everything about that machine perfectly. He knows this machine perfectly. Nobody else will know it as much as he knows it. So if there is any doubt, you should refer it to the manufacturer, not to anyone else. So that Krishna is the owner, and he's not only just manufactured it and left it for it to function on its own. He is maintaining it. He is practically intervening everything into everything and everything that we are surrounded with. So he's involved, though physically we may not see him involved in day-to-day affairs, but the whole system works under his supervision. When he says that Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharachara, everything is supervised by me. I may not be physically doing it, I may not be practically doing it, but everything happens by my will, under my supervision, under my control. So ultimate responsible person for anything and everything that is happening in this world is Krishna, because this whole system is created by him and operated by him ultimately, or some of his associates on his behalf. So so the so whatever he has spoken by way of instructions to operate, to handle the machine, the manual provided by Krishna for this machine, for so the world itself is a machine, and our body that we are being awarded is also like a machine. Using this machine, we operate in a bigger machine. Using this machine that is of a body, the soul function in the larger machine that is the material world, and it has to interact with this material world, and it has to act while doing while functioning in the material world. So the soul is a foreign element in the material world. Soul does not belong to this material world. That therefore the soul, the particle which is free from all defects that we see that are applicable to the world, the soul, the as long as soul is in the body, the laws of material nature applies to the soul. Otherwise, soul, in its pure form, is free from all the laws of material nature that we currently observe in the nature. So the soul is, but as long as soul is within the body, soul is subjected to all the laws of this material world, and hence it should function according to the manual that is provided by the manufacturer, so that it can leverage this world to the optimum level, to the best of its capacity, and does not if anybody use a gadget without referring to the manual, at best he will end up underutilizing the gadget. The gadget may have 1000 features, he may just use 5, 10, 100 features based on his level of interest and his capacity or his knowledge of technical knowledge, but he may never be able to reach to using or unearthing all the 1000 and 10,000 features that manufacturers have provided. So at best we may end up underutilizing this machine, or we may spoil the machine, and we may break down the machine, and we may suffer because of this machine. Right, machine is supposed to make our task easier, but we may end up suffering because of this machine. So hence it's important that we function according to the instructions of the manufacturer. These instructions are captured in Shastra Vidhan. Now, what is Shastra? So what we are supposed to do and what we are not supposed to do, our do's and don'ts of what should be prescribed duty for us, all that should come from Shastra. And Shastra Praman, if we take and then act, then we are safe. we are safe in this world, we can function properly in this world and focus on our larger objective of returning back to the spiritual world. The functioning in this spiritual world, in this it's properly driving car will ensure that it is not broken down, but it can then be driven to the destination that we ultimately want to achieve. uh, Running car is not our objective. Running car for, there should be a purpose behind running a car. So similarly, operating body smoothly, functioning properly in this material world should also have a destination, should also have a purpose. And that purpose Krishna has given in the Shastra, that is Bhagavad Gita, as to return back to Krishna, return back to the spiritual world, to enjoy eternal blissful life, experience eternal blissful life. We cannot create that in this world, but for that we need to go to that world using our facility given by way of this body and the material world. So this is the basis. There is a beautiful verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, during the conversation between Yamraj and Yamadutas, Yamraj says this beautiful word that dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranita. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranita. Whatever Krishna, Bhagwan kaun hai? Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. So, so whatever Krishna has spoken, has given instructions, whatever Krishna has given is dharma. Everything else is adharma. So while we need to function in this world, we should carefully figure out, find out what is our dharma, how are we expected to act, how is Krishna expecting us to act, what is it that Krishna want us to do, and what is it that Krishna does not want us to do. Everything is given in Vedas, which is a vast large body of knowledge and extremely confusing. So Krishna summarized everything and published it by way of speaking Bhagavad Gita. So what we are going to do today is we will uh, we'll go back to Bhagavad Gita. We'll go back to Bhagavad Gita and take a look at all the critical verses that we have studied in Bhagavad Gita, and we will try to derive some meaning out of it, some understanding out of it, and the practical application for us. So, as we all have seen, we have been looking at Bhagavad Gita, studying Bhagavad Gita for some time. Bhagavad Gita verses, not everything, every word spoken by Krishna is instruction. We can draw some learning out of it, but per se, some of these verses can be classified as informative verses. Like, for example, mm, there are verses which comes in the 11th chapter where his Vishwarup form is described. Now, those are all informative verses. The second chapter, the description of soul, is a lengthy description, comes across almost 25-30 verses, and that can also be called as a description. So we can still get some learning out of it, but primarily those are meant for information. Those are description, and some of these verses are instructions. Now, the for us, every verse is important. However, from our point of view, the instructive verses are more important than the descriptive verses. So instructive verses are meant to be applied into day-to-day life. Within instructive verses also, there will be some verses who will be repeated, which will be repeated, and some verses Krishna will just make a reference to it in maybe as a response to one of the question that Arjuna might have had asked, but he will not repeat those instructions again in the Bhagavad Gita, later part of Bhagavad Gita. So as we all know, it's a conversation and it's a progressive conversation. So it starts at some point and then it progresses. Progression happen by way of interaction, by way of question answer, and Arjuna asks more deeper questions to reveal more deeper secrets of bhakti yoga. And whatever Krishna has spoken earlier at times gets negated in the subsequent verses. So what gets repeated, those instructions becomes more important from our point of view. So I'll take an example. There's a beautiful verse comes in the um, in the second chapter, 37th verse, where Krishna says that hatova prapsasi swargyam jitva va bhukshase mahim tasmat uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya kriti nishchaya. That hatova means if you die in this war, if you give up your body in this war, uh, you will go to Swarga. Why Swarga? Because you are a Kshatriya and you are fighting for a righteous reason. And any Kshatriya who lived his body while fighting for a reason, for a righteous reason, will attain Swarga. That's the Vedic Vidhan. And so Krishna says, in this is again in response to a specific questions asked by Arjuna in the, or a doubt that expressed by Arjuna in the first chapter, that how will I enjoy? Even if I win this war, how am I going to enjoy without all these people? So the enjoyment itself was question mark, because we are fighting a war, we have a purpose, we want to win the kingdom, and then obviously there will be some enjoyment that will come along with that. So one is not, one cannot rule out that aspect. That's, as a king, you will have a beautiful palace, you will have great facility, you will have many servants, you will have best of the best food available, drinks available, facility available for everything. And so that's enjoyment to the body, that gives pleasure to the body. So those enjoyments, how will I be able to enjoy properly? So that was the question that was asked by Arjuna, in response to which Krishna briefly answered with this verse, that even if you die, even if you give up your body in this war, you will go to Swarga. And if you win, then what to speak? You will have unrivaled kingdom. Unrivaled kingdom. You will, there will be no enemy for you in this whole planet, which means again you will enjoy. So there is enjoyment in either way. If you win, there is enjoyment. If you lose, there is enjoyment. So what is the question? Why there is a doubt? So hence, give up all your doubt and fight, O Arjuna. Now that's the instruction comes. This is kind of an instruction that tasmat uttishta kaunteya, get up, O Arjuna, kaunteya, and yuddhaya kriti nishchaya, fight with determination. Nishchay karke yuddha karo. Now this is, if somebody stops reading Bhagavad Gita with this verse, we started this group, read Bhagavad Gita. Somebody reads this verse and they stop reading Bhagavad Gita afterwards. What is the conclusion that they are likely to draw? Anybody want to quickly jump in? What conclusion they will go with?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
So the conclusion that they will be drawing from it, that in either way, when we are working even in the materialistic world, and then also there will be enjoyment, because if I'm doing a good noble jobs in this materialistic world, after leaving this body, I'll be just going to higher planets and I'll be enjoying there.
So
And even
ultimate objective of life is what?
that will become enjoyment.
Enjoyment.
Yes.
And so this is a conclusion that somebody will leave. Now this is a dangerous conclusion to draw, because even immediately in the next verse, Krishna what Krishna says, that sukhe dukhe samay krutva labha labho jaya jayo, but tato yuddhaya yujjasva naimam papam avasasi. That uh, treat happiness and distress equally. Sukha dukhe samay krutva labha labho jaya jayo. Labh, profit, gain, jaya, ajay, jay, or paray bhai, parajay, इन सबको समान समझो और युद्ध करो, और ऐसा अगर आप करोगे तो आपको पाप नहीं लगेगा. Now it's a completely different instruction. So if somebody leaves, it's like if somebody goes to watch a movie, and in the initial part of that movie, the hero of that movie is getting beaten up by the villains, and somebody may leave the movie hall at that time, and then he said, so बहुत बकवास मूवी है, इसमें हीरो सिर्फ मार खाता है. But if he's not stayed back to watch the entire movie, where in the later part hero go and defeat all these villains single-handedly, beat them all up and become victorious, if he has not seen that, then all his impressions go wrong. The whole concept, he's understood it in incorrect way, and everything that he's understood about that movie becomes wrong. So, and no benefit it will give him. So it's important for everyone to understand the scripture also clearly and properly. So what gets, this does not get repeated, that enjoy, 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 that does not get repeated in the third chapter, fourth chapter, 18th chapter. That's not the ultimate instructions Krishna wanted to give. And hence, when we see instructions from Krishna, also we should see progressively what those instructions are, and which instructions get repeated. Those are important instructions, and those are the ones where we should focus upon. So what we have done is, from Bhagavad Gita, there are many instructions get repeated in Bhagavad Gita at different stages, and so they all put together becomes a theme. A theme is a topic. If I were to speak only on the on a particular topic, then I will prepare all the material related with that topic. And what we have done is we have collected all verses pertaining to a particular topic, and those we will discuss today. We'll have a we'll have a I'll take you quickly introduce you to this. So this is the Word document. So currently we have captured 7 themes, and we intend to repeat this with other themes. There are multiple themes and many important themes in Bhagavad Gita. Then this is the way, this is the pattern that we will follow. That each theme we have collected some verses. The first theme we'll speak about is a beautiful verse that comes in the second chapter, 7th verse. Karpanya dosha pahata swabhavaha pruchami tvam dharma samudha cheta yet shreyasyanishchitam bruhi tanme shishyaste aham shadhimatvam prapannam. The shishyaste aham shadhimatvam prapannam. Our theme title is, to gain knowledge we must surrender humbly and inquire from a spiritual master in submissive mood. Now, this is the theme, and Krishna speak about this in subsequent verses as well. And how a spiritual master is then evam parampara praptin. The spiritual master should be connected to a parampara, and so on and so forth. So we'll go through each of these theme individually, each of these verses individually. For each verse or for a group of verses, there could be some learning that you all may think of. So keep your microphones ready. And as we discuss these verses, we want to simultaneously capture your learnings. So this is the first topic, the learning we want to capture in this section. So as you will describe briefly, I can type here, and then if for each learning there should be a practical application. For example, in the first verse, I may say that my learning is Shishyaste aham shadhi matvam prapannam, that I need a I need a guru. I need a guru for learning. For learning anything, I need a guru. For learning ABCD also, I needed a guru. I went to school. Somebody taught me, and I have to be humble. I was not arguing with that person. That when my maths teacher told me 2 plus 2 4, I never said why it is not 3. I accepted. I was submissive. I was humble, and because I was humble, I could learn, then I could practically apply, and then I could practically use whatever I have used, I have learned. So had I been arrogant, had I been arguing with my teacher all the time, I probably would have learned it wrongly, or I probably might not have learned anything from my school. So it is applicable everywhere. And same is applicable in the bhakti. When we are trying to learn something, a subject matter of bhakti, from we need somebody from whom we can learn. We need to be under somebody's supervision. We need to submit ourselves to someone, and somebody has to teach us. Now now that is the mood, that is then what we should do. Then we can type here that for learning spiritual subject, we need a guru or a devotee. We should get connected with somebody. We cannot learn these subject matters alone on our own. Then what is my practical application? I will find one. I will find somebody with whom I will stay connected, and I will share all my uh, practical problem, because our bhakti is a process of transformation. Now this is not a process of becoming pandit. uh, I was listening to Radheshyam Prabhu. his class last week. He came to camp on Thursday and came to Vishal Nagar on Friday, and I had the great fortune of attending both these classes live. So one beautiful thing that he shared is that Prabhupada was not very uh, used to not get very impressed with people who pose themselves to be a big pandit or a big learned scholar kind of people. Somebody he and Pradesham Prabhu actually shared a memory from Prabhupada Leela that Prabhupada was in Vrindavan and somebody was he was doing some work and somebody brought him a person. A person came to him with another person saying that Swamiji, this man knows all the verses of Bhagavad Gita, all 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita inko pata hai. And that man was standing proudly, smiling, looking at Prabhupada, expecting appreciation because it's not a small achievement to memorize all the verses of Bhagavad Gita. He said, Prabhuji, Swamiji, aap unko, you just utter one couple of words and he will tell you the entire verse. And that is his expertise, that is his knowledge. Now, with this, the Prabhupada looked up at him for a second and he looked into his eyes. That man was standing there very proudly, that very um, smilingly looking at Prabhupada, wanting him to appreciate him. And then Prabhupada face didn't really change any expression. Without changing any expression, in a very grave voice, he said, send him to kitchen to wash pots. There are pots to be washed. Send him to kitchen. Let him wash pots. Now, this is this was a shock for that person who was expecting praise. Why? What is it that has not happened? He's probably remembered all the verses, but those verses has not acted on him, or he is not acting according to those verses, which has prevented him from getting transformed. Now it's a transformation of heart. The bhakti is a process of transformation of heart. We want to transform ourselves. If we are somebody is sick, we don't want to maintain his sickness. He has to get cured. So there is a transformation that is expected. If somebody is having a fever, his fever should go. And that transformation is visible, is practical, and is expected when you undergo a treatment. Similarly, learning Bhagavad Gita is not to show our panditya, not to show how expert we are, but to get transform our heart, but to transform our heart and become humble, submissive devotee of Lord Krishna. If that is not happening, then our entire program of learning Bhagavad Gita is wasteful, is not going to benefit us much. So this is the intent, and this is what we will do quickly our next remaining time, and we will repeat this session with other themes and balance themes for a couple of more sessions, so that all of us are fully equipped with the Bhagavad Gita, not only by memorizing all the verses or all the important verses. That's important, but that is not the only important thing. Most important thing is to apply those verses in our life. If we are not benefiting by applying those verses, then those remembering and talking those verses is just act of a parrot, without any transformation. So we have to be careful with that as well. So we'll start the session with the first theme. To gain knowledge, we must surrender humbly and inquire from a spiritual master. Now I will keep this session interactive. I request everyone to keep yourself on unmute or unmute yourself. But I will want everyone to participate. Now these are important sessions. These are not just to hear and forget. If we do that, we might as well log off, because uh, that's not going to be much helpful. So everybody should have a say in this. So either we go by raising hand, that can be little time consuming, but at least everybody will get a chance to speak. I think we can follow that for the time being, and then later we can see. But everybody should have a say in this verse. Now, another important thing is, now the same verse can be used in multiple places. We will have another theme of about mind. mind your mind. Now the in that theme also, this verse will fit in. Why? Because there is a dharma sammudha chetaha. Chetaha is our mind predominantly, and sammudha is bewildered mind. Now confused mind, bewildered mind is everybody's state. In that state you don't know what to do, what is right, what is wrong, if you are not able to decide. And there are situations in our life, practically we can all look back and find out that when we were not sure what to do, be it our career choice, be it our choice of spouse, be it our choice of a job, or it could be a fight with our friend, and we fight with our parents, fight with our siblings, and it could be anything and everything where we get confused all the time. And those confusions, we refer we don't, so there we lose our ability to take a decision. And this samudha cheta state we also often attain because of the weakness of mind, because of the clarity of mind as well. So we will refer to the same verse during our session on mind, similar session on mind. So it can have multiple uses. That was the point that I was trying to make. Also, everyone can look at the same verse from different point of view, different angle, and each of those could be a correct learning. So there has to be a learning, and then there has to be a practical application of that learning. So when we speak about the learning, we can also simultaneously talk about how I will use in my practical life, day-to-day life. So this is the pattern that we follow. So for every learning, there will be a practical application tip. And these can be tips. We need not give big elaborate answers, but because we need to capture all this information also for your own benefit, later we can circulate these files to everyone. So that is the theme, and I'll run through the verses. So there are many verses in this particular section. That as first verse I spoke, that shishyaste aham shadi matvam prapannam. Arjuna submitted to Krishna. Arjuna became a disciple of Krishna, surrender to Krishna, took a they reverse their positions. In the chariot, Arjuna was sitting as a master, and Krishna was sitting as a driver, as a servant of Arjuna, because Krishna likes to take position of service. Krishna likes to serve his devotee, and Arjuna at the request of Krishna was sitting as a master and giving directions to Krishna. Take left, take right, go straight, and take my chariot in between two armies. I want to see everyone from a distance. Now these were orders given by Krishna, by Arjuna to Krishna. So normally, and their positions had not changed. Krishna is still supreme personality of Godhead, but he has willingly accepted, happily accepted this service for Arjuna's pleasure. And Arjuna is also playing a part in the Leela by or giving orders to Krishna. So this is, but then the time came when he got bewildered. He never forgot Krishna's position, and then he humbly surrendered to Krishna. So that is the mood. So this is the way most of us know all these verses. They are frequently quoted verses, but now we will need to do something more about these verses. We need to find out what should we do, what is the learning for us, and how we will apply, how we intend to apply it in practical life. I as we will go through verses, you can keep raising hand, and you can keep noting down the verses numbers, or you can stop me anytime and we can discuss that particular verse. That is also fine, but we need to do this quickly so that we don't lose a lot of time in discussing just one verse, because all these verses, we can speak for hours, 1 hour on each of these verses. Also they are that deep verses, very beautiful verses. So the first verse which we have discussed, the theme everyone knows. Any questions so far, anybody might have? Okay, no questions, so let's proceed. The first verse, as you have seen, uh, now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple, a soul surrender unto you. Everybody is able to see the Word document, correct? Okay, should I enlarge it?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
You can see.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Clear.
Okay. That's nice. Keep everything on, everybody on unmuted. Let everybody be unmuted, and then you can stop me if you wish to. So, anybody wants to share anything about this verse, or
Yes,
should we move
Prabhuji.
to the next verse? Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, here the verse talking about when he is bewildered and he lost his composure. At that time, thinking of surrendering. So, and before that, he was giving command as a commander and to run the chariot, go into the center of stage. So, what I understand is rather than surrendering to the master, to the God, not at the time of misery, but all the time when we are looking at the, our situation. So, whether it's a good situation, bad situation, the surrender is required, a continuous surrender.
Correct.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Practical application.
Yeah.
Practical application, we should be
So
uh,
same that way. We'll
taking guidance from the master all the time, whether I'm in happy mood or a bad mood, whatever is there, that should be always in the form of surrender only.
we'll take the guidance from devotees always. Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that can be
Prabhuji, I can
approached.
share.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I can share.
Yeah.
As what I understand also is that when before starting a work, we many times we start assuming the results. It may be good or it may be bad. So then, like what happened with Arjuna. So he initially started thinking that what will be the outcome of this war, and then he got very concerned that people will will die or whatever. So that stops him, and then he says that Siddhanti Mamogatrani. So he becomes scared and his arms and legs start shivering. So that is why it is important that we should always go by the instructions of the spiritual leader and follow the instructions carefully. That is the
Okay.
learning.
So should not overthink,
कब अभी
but
रोटी बनाना इम्पोर्टेंट है ना
rely on the
Should not overthink and rely on the instructions of the spiritual master.
Prabhuji, one more aspect we can look into this. Like Krishna and Arjuna changed their position as a master and servant. So in our mind, whenever we are facing with certain situations, so we take the instruction from our soul or soul present in the or with us. So our mind says something else, but in situation when we are looking at, we should change our position and take the instruction from the soul, which will guide us to a correct path.
Okay. So the instructions from the soul at times will be very difficult to distinguish. What is the instruction of the soul? And that is also not very easily available. At times, the dharma itself is not always black and white. It's many times it is gray. For example, when a cow enters a hut of a yogi, and now a yogi is supposed to speak truth all the time, and a butcher comes from running from behind with a knife in his hand, and he asks this sadhu, have you seen a cow? Which just now I think I was chasing a cow and she's not to be seen. Have you seen him? Have you seen her? Now a yogi is supposed to speak truth, but if yogi speaks truth in this situation, butcher will catch hold of this cow, and he will kill her. So to protect cow, sadhu can speak a lie that no, he was busy with his bathing and he don't know whether cow came this side or that side, and the butcher may go away and the cow's life can be saved. So dharma itself is not always black and white, and there will be always a lot of gray at times, and then that gray, how it has to be adjusted, also needs to be taught expertly. So when we should lie, can I lie for going to a movie, or can I tell a lie for going to a Bhagavad Gita class in the temple, visit temple? Now both are lies. If one is not expertly guided, one may think lying is okay in bhakti, and left, right, center they can start lying. So everything has to be done with a under guidance of a devotee. That's the whole point. That this theme is that of a devotee, that a spiritual master. We need an authority in bhakti. That is the theme, and with this only we can discuss the topic. This theme, this verse will come again for some other topic. That time the other topics may become prominent, but right now the uh, this is the act from where the Bhagavad Gita begins practically. Up till now, whatever had happened, Arjuna has spoken the most. So if somebody will were to judge based on all the verses prior to this verse, they will think Arjuna is the speaker of Bhagavad Gita. Only he is speaking. Krishna has not even spoken a word or hardly spoken anything, and really not of much significance. And that too, he is taking a very servitor's position. He's not chariot driver. Driver से क्या expect करेंगे? So, uh, so that's how. So the so the mood is here. The theme here is we need authority. We need spiritual authority to practice bhakti. That is the theme. And with that point of view, whatever the ideas that can come, we can capture those. We will go to the next verse. There are many verses in this theme
Yeah,
as well.
Prabhu,
Yes, Ravi.
sorry to stop you. In that, we also have a practical implication in the previous one. We
Mhm.
noted the learning, but we can also have a practical implication. Sorry, practical implementation or application is that before starting any important task, we should consult with a learned devotee.
Yes.
With
So
a
the
with a
yeah,
learned devotee, Prabhu.
learned devotee. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So now this is the we should always be under guidance. So we should always be submissive to a authority, and we should discuss all topics, not just topic related to bhakti. Definitely will be discussed, but other topics also need to be discussed. Can anybody say why? Why other topics need to be discussed?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, sorry.
Dandavat. So because to coming to the level of devotional services, we have got our materialistic life as well. And whether I am leading that materialistic life, which will lead me towards devotional service or not, those decisions are to be taken in consultation with the devotees, so that I can confirm myself that I am on the right path to come
Right.
to.
So I'm not compromising my spiritual life for the sake of material life. So that balance will be struck with the help of devotees. If I, it's not that devotees are going to guide us on the manufacturing process improvements, which can lead to productivity increments and faster sales and faster realizations. No, those kind of advices will not come from devotees. However, what devotee will tell you is to how you can still make sure that you have you if you probably if you want to if you see great demand for alcohol in the state, and you choose to then set up a factory manufacturing alcohol, so a lot of people can get employment, and there is great demand, those sales will be booming, profit will be there, then you think you can donate something to the temple as well. And now all they sound to be very noble plans, but when you share them with a devotee, they will say alcohol ka factory mat kholo, दूसरा कुछ करो. Butcher house mat kholo, ये मत करो, meat factory mat kholo, दूसरा कुछ कर लो. So this is where the not that they will tell you what to do, or they will not be expert in the in the field of manufacturing or field of service that you could be busy with. However, they'll guide us in, they'll protect us from doing something immoral. They'll protect us from something, doing something, getting engaged in something sinful, which can make our spiritual path difficult at later stage. So, and as the same time, they'll ensure that we strike proper balance in our initial years, so that we don't, for the sake of material life, we don't neglect spiritual life. And that guidance should be taken definitely from a devotee, so that we don't go on the wrong path. We don't we stay on the spiritual path. We continue to serve Krishna and his mission, and continue to progress in that as well. The second verse which we will speak about is picked up from the fourth chapter. It's another beautiful verse. Evam parampara praptam. Whatever disciple with whom we should connect. Now, our family members are Mata Pita are our guru. Our father, mother, parents are our guru. In all family, there is a learned member, intellectual member. Family, extended family. There is somebody who's everybody consult. All family members go and consult that person. Very intellectually, very have a lot of degrees or have a lot of wisdom. Claim to be having a lot of wisdom. Now that person, there could be a rich person in our family, extended family, friend circle, uh, with whom to whom everybody goes for support. So, so we have typically a lot of options. Now, none of those people, if unless they are devotee in some parampara, whatever knowledge they will share, if there is a if it's a if it is a material problem, it can be solved with material information. But if it is a spiritual query, should I chant at all or not? Should I offer my food every day or not? Now, if these are the kind of problems which are taken to any one of these people, our parents, our friends, our most wise person, most rich person in our um, vicinity, then so unless these people to whom we go to and ask questions are connected in some parampara, the answers which they are likely to give are going to be incorrect. So guru or devotee to whom we choose to listen to should come in parampara, should have some succession, should not. So the guru doesn't manufacture anything and tell to his disciple, or a devotee should not be manufacturing anything on the spot and producing it to preparing, showing it to the disciple. The knowledge people can generally learn from some experience, that is all right for material basis, but spiritual knowledge should come in parampara. So that's what Krishna is highlighting, that evam parampara praptam rajarshayo vidu, evam rajarshayo vidu. So kale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. Again, this is very important instruction from our point of view. On the YouTube, there is no there is a lot of knowledge that is available about self discipline, how to control anger. If you google how to control anger, how to control lust, hundreds and thousands of videos will come on the YouTube. Now, which one which one to refer to? How to be successful? What is success? There could be hundreds and thousands of videos that will come on defining success. How to rely on that? And which one should we hear and follow? So we should find out that whom what is the parampara of the speaker. We should definitely try to understand before we invest ourselves into learning anything. We must inquire about the parampara, that this person who's speaking comes in with what parampara, in who which parampara, and is he speaking something self proclaimed, self created, then that's not going to be perfect knowledge. So it's going to be it's will be, even if that person is great, it will still be affected by the four defects that every human has. So the knowledge that we choose to hear to, should come in parampara. Also, another beautiful point Narottam Prabhu has always highlighted, that this person speaking should be practicing that knowledge. It shouldn't be so case that a stress management seminar, Among Lila Prabhu shared this beautiful memory from his corporate life days, that he was sent to attend a stress management program, and in the in the break time, that is in the whole day seminar, there are breaks, multiple breaks are given. This this the speaker who was presenting, who was supposed to be teaching everybody else, all the participants, how to be stress free, he came out and then started smoking lots of cigarettes, and was sipping coffee and smoking cigarettes, standing outside the seminar hall. And he says that seeing him, he realized that it's not working for him. So what to speak of anybody else getting any benefit out of such teachings? So anybody who is sharing knowledge has a responsibility to practice that knowledge in his personal life, and he should have received the same knowledge in the parampara. Both the things are important. Having practiced it oneself, one realizes the knowledge. It's not doesn't just remain it's not doesn't just remain a theoretical concept, that I have remembered this and I'm speaking it, and then I will forget it. The moment I'm done with the speaking, I will forget it. It doesn't remain. It just get ingrained in this person. The person likes this. The person follows it. This becomes heart and soul of this person. This knowledge become heart and soul of such person. So the knowledge should come in parampara. That is a important theme. Next verse is Bhakto Sime Sakha Cheti. We should have a relationship with devotees. Devotees can give us rahasyam yah etad uttamam. Uttam rahasya bhi wo share tab karenge जब हम उनके, then when we will have a relationship with them. Our relationship, here Krishna explains that Bhakto Semi Sakha Cheti. Now Sakha is a personal aspect and Bhakta is a surrendered mood, surrendered submissive mood. As a Sakha, Arjuna need not be surrendered to Krishna, need not be submissive to Krishna, because that's a different rasa. But as a devotee, as a shishya, he has to have a surrendered mood towards Krishna. He cannot be in a argumentative mood with Krishna and then hope to learn from anything from him. So he has to be humility. It's all start with humility, ends with humility. The bhakti starts with humility and ends with humility, and all throughout you should be humble. The moment you will we will, all of us, it's applicable to everyone. So the moment we will feel proud that we know so much, I'm better than this person, this devotee, I'm better than the non-devotees, their progress will stop, and they will, in fact, the reverse process will begin. um, so so the bhakti progress can continue. One can continue to progress in bhakti as long as they are humble. And bhakto saimi sakhachiti, and they should have a relationship with devotees from whom they are learning. All of us should aspire to have a spiritual master. All of us should have an aspiration to get initiated and actually get a spiritual master. But even if we will have a spiritual master, we will have many shiksha gurus. Now many shiksha gurus are together teaches us the process of bhakti, because in Prabhupada time, everybody got association, direct association of Prabhupada. But that also became difficult as Prabhupada used to travel all around the world always. And then people who were getting initiated used to see Prabhupada only once or twice in a year. The whole year they would be with other senior devotees to whom Prabhupada had taught and now are heading the temples. So they had at that time also they had Shiksha Gurus, and they had a Diksha Guru in Srila Prabhupada. In today's time also we have Diksha Guru like His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, and many other Loknath Swami Maharaj. So these Diksha Gurus also have multiple levels of other their senior disciples who act as a Shiksha Guru. So we may or may not get a chance to have direct association with our Diksha Guru, but and but we should have good relationship, great relationship with our Shiksha Gurus, and we should have this humble, submissive relationship with the Shiksha Gurus, so that Shiksha Gurus can share the knowledge of devotional service. They can give us corrections. The rahasya need not be a secret keys or secret passwords that they will share. It could be a simple, it could be a correction that a devotee may give me if I have a relationship with him. He will not give me if that relationship is missing. Because when you have a strong bond, strong relationship with devotees, uh, and in that humble mood, you seek correction from devotees, you listen to whatever the correction is offered, and then you choose to work on that corrections, it benefits in bhakti. If corrections are not offered, which means devotees don't feel confident of giving you correction, which means you are lacking in humility. We are lacking in humility, so we should not we should be explicitly say this to devotees that please correct me if you see anything wrong in me. And for that, we don't have to become judgmental when they actually give us corrections. We should do accept it. So uh, Vikas Babuji was once saying in the Japa session that hear without defending and talk without offending. It's a beautiful concept, and here without defending, it's difficult to do. And that's exactly is possible when you have humility, when you are humble enough, submissive enough, and in front of devotees, they can give you corrections, and that is the rahasya. It's not that that they will give you new mantra to chant instead of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, using which then you will suddenly grow a halo behind your head. That's not going to happen in the material world. So you will deal with the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but the devotees will offer us corrections. They will ensure that we correct ourselves and we come out of our problems, and then we progress on the spiritual path, making Krishna our dear object rather than having all our distractions as our primary goals. Make Krishna our primary goal. So they will help us do that, provided we have a relationship with them. So this beautiful verse talks about that. 34th verse in the 4th chapter is the whole nectar verse. Tadvidi pranipatena prashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanena tattvadarshinaha. That devotees are tattvadarshi. They have seen the truth and they can give us knowledge. When they can give us knowledge, when we by our not only by intent but our by action also, we show humility, we show our desire to learn from them. Tad vidhi pranipatena. Now this has both, this has intent and action as well. The intent is internal. I may have a great respect for a person, but if I when everybody else is paying obeisances, if I don't do that, then my intent is not converted into action. Now if I'm not acted, nobody knows what my intent is. So I have to have right intent and I have to perform right actions. Tad vidhi pranipatena. So senior devotees, we just go and pay obeisances. Pariprashnena sevaya. We should ask questions about our devotional life. We should ask questions about how we can make, how can I chant better, how can I progress more in Krishna consciousness. Progressing in Krishna consciousness means remembering Krishna 24/7 ultimately. Means doing action, acting only for the pleasure of Krishna. This is progress in Krishna consciousness. Serving devotees, serving Krishna, acting to only serve devotees and Krishna, that is progress in Krishna consciousness. Glorifying all the Vaishnavas, that is progress in Krishna consciousness. I like to glorify myself otherwise, but when we take pleasure in glorifying other devotees, other Vaishnavas, seeing only good qualities in them and seeing all bad qualities in us, that is a subject matter of progress. Then we are progressing, and this a devotee can point out to us if we are not progressing. So we should be asking questions, and then the devotees, when we do these things, we should render some service to them, uh, in a practical way. Not that intent. Intent is great, but if you are not doing it, it's not sufficient for a devotee to feel confident of being of giving you corrections. So we should have intent, right intent, and right actions should follow to translate our intent into action, and then we will get right knowledge, enlightenment from devotees, and they may come in form of corrections, in mostly in the kind of at our level in our life. Then we have to hear, because when hearing without defending, that comes. Um, so this 7.1st verse, we are highlighting the first. Again, this verse can be used in many ways, in many themes, but tachruno, we have to hear attentively when devotees will speak. We don't have to argue, we don't have to defend ourselves. Hearing without defending, what a beautiful way of putting it across, and that's so difficult to do. So that we should practice when devotees will speak, and then what they will speak, they will speak guhyatamam. Idam tute guhyatamam pravaksham anusuyave. We should have a anusuyave. We should be non-envious of devotees. We should be love. We have to have a loving attitude towards devotees. We should. That's why if we can glorify all devotees, we can see all good qualities in those devotees, all other devotees except for us, then we are progressing in devotional service, because now we are anusuyave. Anusuyave means we have non-envious of devotees. If a devotee starts singing kirtan and he said, oh, it's not singing it properly, I could have sang it much better, that's not a proper approach. That's offensive for devotional service. So we should have a attitude of non-envious. We should have a non-envious nature towards all devotees. Also, if we practice this sufficiently in our spiritual life, this will reflect in our material life as well. And we can then we will be peaceful in our material life as well. We will be happy in our material life as well. But we need to practice this sufficiently in the spiritual life, to be sure, at least minimum. We can't, there should be no excuse of not doing these things in spiritual world, in the spiritual life. Another last verse in this section is beautiful verse of 13th chapter and 26, that we we have heard everything. The guru or the devotees have shared this knowledge with us. Then what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to act on the knowledge, upasate, act as were directed by them. We shouldn't just hear and forget, we should hear and act. uh, and then this is a beautiful verse in Krishna, in the 13th chapter. Krishna is explaining that how uh, how everyone can act, and then he's explained the karma yoga, dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, and then he says that all that is fine, but there is an easy way as well. What is the easy way? Again, there are those who, although not expert in the spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Lord by hearing from about him from others. By simply hearing from others, they start worshipping Krishna. Upasate, they start the process of devotional service simply by hearing from others. So we should, whatever we hear, we should act on that knowledge. If when we devotees tell us to join japa session, we should make every effort to join japa session, actually, practically, not just have a desire that yes, someday when I will have no other work, then I will join japa session, or someday when all the malls are closed, or there will be too much rain happening, flooded, Mumbai city will be flooded, then I will switch on to the Bhagavad Gita class. And here, when I will have nothing else to do, no World Cup finals are played, then I will open the laptop or open my phone and join Bhagavad Gita reading session. That's not the way. We should practice wholeheartedly the devotional service. We should act wholeheartedly on the instructions that we get from the guru. So this is a role of guru. The whole theme was talking about the role of guru. there could be multiple discussions and it can become very prolonged discussions, but I'll just pause for a moment just to see if anybody wants to talk about any specific verse in this particular section, or we can move to the next section.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So as you mentioned in that 4.2, that Evam Parampara Prapam, 4.2 hopefully. So that is actually very prominent to select the spiritual master, because it so happened even with me actually when I was somewhere outside, and then I found so many, like there are so many gurus available in the contemporary time. So I found one, and then I was with him for some time, for not much, 10-15 days, and in that association he told that from this day onwards I am the god, and you will start seeing god as me. So I was a bit confused that how he can be god, how he can become god. But since it is very prevalent in the society that Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, so how they are alluring people, that was the example of it. And I was not very sure on that aspect of that particular gentleman. And when I heard Srila Prabhupada and couple of other disciples, they told that how we should choose the spiritual master is that one who is practically working in his life on the Vedic injunction, and he is practicing what he is preaching, and he is not claiming to be the god. And if someone is telling like that, there were 5 qualities mentioned. So if he is like pretending to claim himself as god, then he should be relinquished. Otherwise, I was in a dilemma that he is a guru, and should I behave with him properly or not? So ultimately, these verses, these association of good exalted devotees gave me a good intention that no, he is not actually guru. He was just a bogus person, and he is to be relinquished immediately. And I was at peace. And so that is what the important aspect is, whether he has come from the parampara system or not, or whether he has just came up just by chance from somewhere, and he is claiming to be a guru. He should not be accepted. And this gives a better hope and a clear understanding that who is to be chosen as
That's a
spiritual master.
very that's a very practical experience, I think, that you've shared, and that's very important. And it has probably must have had happened with most of us or some of us. This is also true when we search on internet. What should we search and whom we should hear? There could be many many sadhu type looking people who will be speaking, and they all probably saffron wearing people could be speaking, and they all could be speaking from, claiming to be speaking from Shastra. But Shastra has as I say, I mean, I can confuse you using the same Shastra, same Bhagavad Gita. I can just come to you and say that this is art, this is it, the rest of all is bogus, and then just enjoy. That's the mentality. That's the ultimate instruction of Bhagavad Gita, is to be happy and just enjoy whatever way means, whatever you can, just enjoy. That's kind of a philosophy is more suitable for Bollywood and advertising world, but cannot give you anything in the process. In the bhakti, you cannot, it cannot, it's a cheating. It's called kapat. Kaitav dharma, that it's referred to it as in Bhagavatam, that it's a kaitav dharma. It's a, if you, after following any dharma anushthan, if you cannot develop taste for Krishna, taste for ruchi for Krishna, then you've been cheated. Because without attaining Krishna, you cannot end a cycle of birth and death. That will come as a theme subsequently. But this is the reality. And if you cannot attain Krishna, then you are back to the cycle of birth and death. So all those gurus who are teaching, who are trying to act like a motivational speakers, who are claiming to be guru themselves, God themselves, they will all be returning back to the cycle of birth, unless because none of them are cultivating remembrance of Krishna. None of them are having a service attitude towards Krishna. What will we will go to spiritual world and do what? We will serve Krishna. We will lovingly serve Krishna there. Unless we cultivate that mood in this world, how we will be ever allowed to go there with the hope that you're here having a enjoying mentality in this material world. enjoying mentality is suitable only for material world. Serving mentality is required for spiritual world. Unless we do this transition, how can anybody allow ever us to the spiritual world? So that entry itself will not be allowed. So hence we need to cultivate the same serving attitude in the material world while we are acting in the material world, and service to Krishna and his devotee and his mission. So that's the easiest way in which we can cultivate this serving attitude. Dasa dasuni dasa, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given is true. And the here everybody wants das. Whenever everybody wants to be served, and that is a sincere, genuine problem that today's world possess. So that instructions, when they are misrepresented, can create a havoc, and that anybody who creates such havoc goes to goes does not attain any success himself. And anybody who follows such creators of havoc, the original person has not got anything, even they don't get anything. So if the whole process, whole program becomes null and void. And so a lot of people actually become atheists because they get bad experience in spiritual life. People are not those who claim to be atheists, not that they always have that very strong atheist ideas about themselves, but their spiritual experiences were bad. Hence they choose to become and remain atheists. They said करना ही नहीं है, सारे जने ऐसे ही है, सब जगह cheating ही होती है. So because of such experiences, wrong experiences that they might have had got in uh, somewhere, they will end up extrapolating the same to the whole spiritual movement, saying that सारे जने वैसे ही होते होंगे. And that's how they may be choosing to remain neutral, and they may consider themselves as atheists. मुझे मैं सबको हाथ जोड़ता हूँ, नहीं तो किसी को भी नहीं जोड़ा हाथ तो भी चलेगा. I'm for me it's okay, my life is go on. My life will go on. I'm not harming anybody, but that is fine. But that's very it's like great underutilization of human birth. And why underutilization? Because this human life is meant for attaining liberation, attaining, going back to Krishna, by remembering Krishna at the moment of death. So that is the ultimate objective for which human birth is. And if one is not able to make any progress towards getting this knowledge and practicing on these lines, then one is wasting one's lifetime. Any other thought on this section?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
One thing is like even if Guru is talking about the thing which is written in just like a word form, and is not realized that facts and that concepts, and not accepting them in their life, that also misguiding. Although words may remain same, the meaning and realization may vary. So that is also one aspect we need to look at. And other thing is how the disciple succession is decided. What is the criterion and framework?
So disciplic succession is decided. There are four the four main disciplic successions coming from Brahmaji, Shivji, Lakshmiji, Sri Sampradaya, and there's one more. So these, and they have their own verticals, basically through the gurus. So Prabhupada comes in the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. So it's a they're all devotees of Radharani or Gaudiyas, and Brahmaji is the original spiritual master in this disciplic succession. So there are ways in which this information can be accessed, but ultimately, just hold on. Ultimately, the criteria that we can at our level use is to understand what is the ultimate teaching that a particular sampradaya is giving. If that teaching is in consistency with the ultimate teaching of Bhagavad Gita, then that can be accepted as a bona fide sampradaya. The ultimate teaching of Bhagavad Gita comes in the 73rd verse of Arjuna, in the 18th chapter, 73rd verse, when he says, Karishya Vachanam Tava. I will do whatever you want me to do, whatever is pleasing to you, whatever you required, that I will do. I will not act by my own whims and fancies. I will not act for my enjoyment without, by subordinating all my personal feelings. I will do what you want me to do. Now, this is a mood in which we should be acting. This is the, and then we should be following the instructions of remembering Krishna, serving Krishna all the time. And if any sampradaya who reaches this specifically, explicitly, that could be a bona fide sampradaya. So it's not that Krishna is property of ISKCON. That need not be true. That could be a very uh, incorrect statement. That will be an incorrect statement, because Krishna is property of all those who are following teachings of Lord Chaitanya, who are teaching of Lord Krishna himself. So anybody can be uh, can become people with there are in fact bona fide sampradayas outside ISKCON also, uh, but the but the way the strict rules and regulations that are there in ISKCON, if they go missing, in most cases, the other sampradayas also see deviations from the principal teachings and practices. And hence today, ISKCON is probably the only place where everything is done with a lot of diligence. All the instructions are given as it was given by Prabhupada. They are trying to be followed in the best of the capacity. There could be some few things here and there within ISKCON also one may point out, but in by and large, ISKCON has been able to maintain the parampara that Prabhupada gave her, and and hence ISKCON it's transformative. We have people join even today. They are getting transformed following the simple process of hearing and chanting. So that's the criteria that we can utilize. Okay.
Yeah, Prabhuji. That's
Yeah. Any other thought anyone has? Okay. We'll move to the next section. The another beautiful section is the fundamental teaching that comes in the Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter. It starts with the that so as they say that adhyatma is adi atma, or spirituality. The word spirituality is starts with spirit. So everything has to start with the knowledge that who we are really. And Krishna introduced this theme of we are not this body, we are a spirit soul, right at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter, with some of these verses. Some of the important verses we will see, not all. Many of you hopefully know these verses, must have read these verses multiple times, or many of you probably remember all these verses, very beautiful verses. That the first is the 12th verse in the second chapter, which talks about eternity, that how the Arjuna's bewilderment was coming from killing bodies of his pitamaha and teachers and brothers and relatives. And Krishna is saying that those bodies cannot be saved, but the soul, who is the real identity of all these bodies within these bodies, is eternal. And he says that, starts with this conversation with this verse, that never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, and in future shall any of us cease to exist. Is to be, we will always continue to exist. So what is the problem? Now our forms may change. We could be in male form this life, next life we may get a female body or an animal body. So the form will change, my dress will change. My kurta I'm wearing today, or white kurta, I may wear blue kurta, I may wear red kurta and green kurta some other day. I may wear a t-shirt some other day, wear a shirt some other day. So within kurtas I can change color, within type of cloth I wear, I can change from kurta to shirt to t-shirt and so on and so forth. So my forms will change, but I essentially remains the same. Similarly, Krishna says that the soul remains the same because soul is eternal by nature. Dehino, what that eternal soul do? Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Dehino, he's acquired the deha, the one who is possessing the deha is called Dehino. Dehino means the one who is in possession of a Deha. And that soul, so it's an indirect reference to the soul. That he's not referring that to the soul, but the one who is acquiring, who is possessing the Deha. Smin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. Now he's passing from within the same body, he's passing from boyhood to youth to old age. And when this body becomes useless, it goes to another body. It gives up this useless body, and at death, the same soul acquires another body. Now, when this is happening, a sober person is not should not get bewildered by this change. So death is a event. Is a event when if you are say, driving from Mumbai to Kolkata, then there are it's a long 1600-kilometer drive. There could be a you could have a made arrangement that you will drive up to Nagpur, and from Nagpur you will take another car and take that car up to Kolkata. Now, what is happening is the car is moving from Mumbai to Nagpur, and in Nagpur, you're coming out of that car and entering into another car and taking that car to Kolkata. Now, there is a change of car that has happened. Similarly, on our journey, a change of body happens. It is as simple as that, but it is extremely complex because of our attachment to the body, because of our attachment to everything else that is connected with the body, our families, our relatives, our friends. The body has a pan number, body has a Aadhaar number. There's a Aadhaar number for the body, there's a pan number for the body. There are photographs of my body at different stages. So all those photographs has memories associated. Then for staying this, for residing for this body, I made nice arrangement. I purchased a flat by paying huge EMIs. I've worked hard for my repayment of my loan. I've done two jobs so that I can buy best of the things and can nice facility to sleep, to watch the best TV in the market. I've got best food in the kitchen and made nice arrangement for this body, and so on and so forth. So because of this attachment to the body, in general, we face trauma when that time comes to change the car. When we hear that the driver came out of one car and got into another car and went to Kolkata, we doesn't really gives us a trauma, or we don't get, it doesn't pain us as much as it is that the person give up his body and went into another body and then continued with his journey of uh, enjoyment, so-called attaining enjoyments in the distress, in the without any knowledge, in ignorance, enjoying, trying to enjoy in ignorance. Now that journey, that is the journey that every soul is taking, unless he has come to the contact of Krishna consciousness, unless he has studied Bhagavad Gita. So this is dehantara, that changing of body. Again, similar point is highlighted. Yes, Vinit Prabhuji, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just my question came in mind, although it looks silly, but while watching one movie, the one of the villain who killed many people indiscriminately, and when caught by the police, he says that in the Bhagavad Gita it is written that the you are not body, you are soul. Then I am not killing these people. I am liberating these people. Prabhuji, I could not justify or discern that what should be the proper our reaction to this question.
Okay. Anybody else wants to answer this?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So So as Bhagavad Gita teaches us, Prabhuji, that basically this is the career, and the soul should move towards the progression. So, and ultimately the nature of the soul is Satchitanand. So if from that perspective we want to make it understand that this is done by soul, so this is not the inclination of soul. If we are just purely talking about on the basis of Vedic injunction that soul is trying to kill all those people. So it is the modes of material nature in which we are living, and if we are in under the mode of ignorance, then we are doing this kind of annihilation or whatever kind of this vicious act, whatever we are doing. So this is the production of our mentality, which is coming under the modes of material nature, and soul is untouched from that. Soul is just keeping this body alive.
So
And but
should that
ultimately,
man be punished or not punished?
he should be definitely punished because it is his intent. Whatever free will he has got, the 5%, he is misutilizing it, and he is trying to kill people, which is not the nature of law. Nature of law nowhere says that we should kill people who are not harming us. If they are trying to harm us, we can protect ourselves. But the idea is not that we should start killing innocent people.
Jignavada, thanks, Soji. Jignavada ji, you can elaborate on the answer that you typed.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, Janma Mrityu both are in hands of Lord Krishna. So taking somebody's life, no human has got the right to do it. When
Adhikar,
that happens, it happens. We ourselves, in fact, don't have a right to take our own life. Like suicide is also non-committed in Shastra because that is also taking life, and we have to, abide by Shastra that both these things are in hands of Lord Krishna and wait for a natural process of how life takes us. And we are going to die. Nobody is going to be immortal over here, but how naturally we go by the cause of life is, I think.
Yeah, that's a very important point that you have brought up, is that of adhikar. Who has adhikar? Who has a right? That is important. And in what, as Mataji has elaborately explained, that only Krishna has right. We don't have right even to take our own life, our own body we cannot destroy. So we have to, if our body is given age of whatever, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, whatever it is, and we have given our quota of enjoyments and sufferings during this lifetime, and we should happily accept those, and we should suffer or enjoy those, and then cultivate remembrance of Krishna by following the process of bhakti. So that is our adhikar. This is only our adhikar. Is none of other things are outside our jurisdiction. So Chandramantra, you want to say something in this connection?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Harish Prabhuji here.
Yes, Prabhuji. Now, since Chandraman Prabhu raised hand, I saw his
he
hand
can say
raised.
that.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
problem. I can
And then
read.
you can jump in later
Hare
after.
Krishna Prabhuji. Am I
Yes,
audible?
Prabhuji. Yeah, absolutely.
Prabhuji, what I wanted to tell is that Krishna, being the supreme Lord, he also gives a justification whenever he killed anybody, whether it was Shishupal after committing 100 crimes. So he does not take away anybody's life rampantly. So we, as one of his creation, do not have a right to do anything by our own until and unless we are so empowered that Krishna directly gives us an injunction that to take action, or it is for our defense. But just because I am in a position to kill somebody, no, I do not have the right to do that.
So same point, adhikar nahi hai. Nice. Vikas Prabhu and Harish Prabhu later.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This was just one elaboration that, as Mataji mentioned, the suicide, that even committing suicide is not our right. So it is, it has got the Shastra's backing, and it comes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that even if someone is asked by the whatever kind of situation may be, he is going to die because of those situations. So he should better die because of those situations, but he should not commit suicide. And the Chaitanya Charitamrita makes it very clear that suicidal attempts are also banned or prohibited as per Vedic injunction.
Correct.
So
That's
that was
sinful
just
actions. Yeah.
Yes,
Harish Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I personally feel that in Bhagavad Gita, the whole starting of this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving it to Arjuna and to the world through Arjuna is basically a fight of dharma. Now, in the fight of dharma, I think only when there is an adharma, people can take the other person's life. So even in one of the introductory section, I read it that it is also correct when somebody is doing adharma on other person, like somebody is killing somebody else, then it is right to sort of confront him and fight for him, rather than considering that it is a soul and it is not a body. One can go on killing people is not appropriate. So only in the youth, in the war of adharma or trying to save some person or some lady from some adharma being done on that person, I think one can take somebody's life. That is what is the preaching probably I can understand from.
Yes, so there are 6 types of aggressors that are
Yeah.
explained. If you remember those
Yeah.
6 types, so those 6 type of aggressors can be killed. That's a
Can be
Shastra
killed.
Vidhan.
Yeah, that is what was mentioned there.
Correct, correct. So what so Vinit Prabhu has brought in, there's another similar thing was done by somebody like Hitler. So when he wanted to kill Jews, he said those are lowly people, they cannot attain spiritual enlightenment. We are Aryans. He used to consider himself as Aryans. And then he said, might as well, they're leading a sinful life, I'll kill them today only. So they push everybody into gas chambers and sent poisonous gas in it and then kill everyone. Now that is not your your human birth is for. Not giving liberation to those people, not giving liberation to even insects. We're not even supposed to do any of those things because it is not in our adhikar. Now it's a question of jurisdiction of adhikar. That's a important point. um, Purnima Mataji has said something. The soul always has a body, either mundane or spiritual. Our consciousness and activities make that choice. If you cultivate mundane material consciousness, you will get a material body, and now spiritual consciousness, spiritual body. No, that's right. So you'll always have a body, either a spiritual body or a material body, and based on our consciousness we will get a body, but we cannot take other people's body, we cannot destroy other people's body until and that is in misuse of our free will. So Vinit Prabhuji, you heard all this discussion, you have any comments? Latika Mataji, you want to say something before that, or anything connected with this or something else?
Prabhuji, I just wanted to one question just came into my mind. In ancient time, there was a culture of the sati pratha, right? That time, that means it is justified. That means taking the life of the woman herself. Means I'm thinking about that Padmavati means got sati that time, instead of get betrayed with that Alauddin Khilji sands. What is that? Means that act also is a sinful act. I just wanted to know.
Okay, we'll come to that once we hear from Vinit Prabhuji. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Vinit Prabhuji, you have any questions, or we can move to the other topic?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Swapnil here.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I think there is a silence, so I thought like I'll put my word. Prabhuji, in the second session of discussion, in the first verse, you mentioned spirit soul. So, what is spirit soul one entity or spirit and soul are different entities? Because to be very honest, the Christianity follows body, spirit, and soul, whereas we follow body, and then we talk about mind, ego, false ego, and then we come up about soul. So spirit and soul, spirit and soul are one or different entity?
Spirit soul is a one entity. A soul is the entity, and spirit is his nature. By nature, soul is spiritual. Spiritual means Satchit Ananda. because it is part and parcel of Krishna, it has these three qualities coming from Krishna as well. So spirit is the nature of the soul, and the soul is the entity. Okay. And coming back to the question asked by Ladika Mataji, is that is going to sati, is it an act of committing suicide, or is it a suicide basically, or is it something that is recommended by Shastra and it is followed by Shastra? Frankly, I don't have an answer for this, a clear answer for this at this point of time. So let me just do a little bit more research on this and come back. In
Prabhuji, can I?
Shastra,
Yeah.
there is a reference of of Gandhari going sati. After in Bhagavatam, it comes that when Dhritarashtra, Dhritarashtra again, he gave up his body by lighting fire from within, and he went to jungle. And after Vidura preaches him, he leaves this home of Dhritarashtra, the Yudhishthir, palace of Yudhishthir, early in the morning without telling anybody. He goes into forest and he light fire in his own body, and then Gandhari enters that same fire and he gives up his body. Have these actions at that level, uh, when you come to a level of self realization, and when you do these actions, we'll have to do a little bit more research and find out. But these are not sinful. For somebody like Gandhari, is it sinful for a character in history when she wanted to protect her body and for that she entered fire? Uh,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
yeah, I don't have very frankly a clear answer to this. We'll probably do a little bit more research, or maybe we'll hear from exalted devotees like others. We'll wait for other comments. Yes, Vikas Babu.
Actually, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Actually, on this, once I read the commentary of Srila Prabhupada, that when it was hopefully he was writing about that this Mata Kunti and this Madri, she got sati. So it was not that there was a compulsion on the lady to become sati, but rather it was his free choice, because he did not want to see any other man, or he don't want to see live life with anyone else this particular life. So by his own will, she wants to end. She wanted to end the life, because she was always devoted to his husband, and that is why she never wanted to live that life which will be left undevoted. If his husband won't be there, so this life won't be devoted to anyone else. So that was actually recommended, and that was Srila Prabhupada has on that comment. Srila Prabhupada has nowhere commented it that it was sinful, because it was his inner desire that I don't want to be exploited by the outside world, or I don't want to serve anyone else. So this is my free will. And on the contrary, Mata Kunti, she decided that since it is my duty to brought up the child also, so she remained alive. So that used to be the free will of the free will which is as per the Vedic, as per the dharmas, that is, I hope that is not considered the sinful act. So,
So
possibly
thanks for the contribution. But in one sense, you're right, Hare Krishna. So we see multiple examples happening in the multiple occasions. For example, Devahuti and Kardama Muni. After giving birth to the children, he left. He said this was precondition that I will get married to you on a condition, because my father Brahmaji wants me to increase the population. And then from Devahuti, he had 9 daughters, and a son was later born, Kapil Muni. And then he says, now my job is done, I will go and take sannyas. And so then then Devahuti was having shelter. She took shelter of her son, and Kapil Muni, who was Krishna himself, appeared in her womb, and then she was under his protection. But if there is no protection, and then she continued, then she took, she was preached by Kapil Muni at later stage, and then all those instructions come in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But she continued, and So as long as you continue, and as long as you have a son to look after you, so women should always be protected by her father in her youth, and husband in later stage, and son in the old age. Now if you see there is no protection for you, can a woman still continue with her own devotional life? And that is a probably answer that even I want to look for in the Bhagavatam or some guidance. But and does ending her own life, does it not, because those who commit suicide also wants to willingly end their life, but that is considered sinful, because unless the term of life comes to an end of for yourself, whatever the allotted number of years, number of breaths you complete, your new body is not available. And whatever be the circumstances and the reason that you may opt for ending your current body, it is considered sinful from a material standpoint. But at a spiritual level, can there be a higher principle that could be applicable? For that is something that one may still have to look up a little bit more and find out. Another question here is, Proji, Lord Krishna is cause of all causes. He gives intelligence, and if somebody is killing someone else, is that past karma, or is it that intelligence given by Krishna for killing others? So it's like the intelligence is like a knife, or is like a is like a knife. So you use it for knife, you can use it for cutting fruits and offering it to Krishna as bhoga, or knife can be used in surgery for curing somebody's disease, or knife can be used to kill somebody over a quarrel, and whatever money. Now now that knife is not good or bad. The person who is choosing to use knife in a particular way, his consciousness is making that act as good as bad. So knife does not per se become bad, but the free will, the misuse of free will by the person who is killing that the other person by using that knife over some petty quarrel or whatever it is, that makes it bad. The same knife a soldier may use in protecting his country can still be considered as a good use of knife. so so it's a misuse of free will that it becomes bad. In dharma, there are principles, and which are, there are basic principles, and then there are higher principles, and then it becomes grayer and grayer. So there is something which is there in black and white, that we should not misuse our free will. Uh, we should not harm others. We should not be immoral. We should not be so there are those principles, and under those principles, the violence, the act of violence is not recommended. That then it's a clear black and white. When, but you can still kill if you are protecting a genuine, a weak person. So that is a that is a higher principle. In killing is generally bad, but for a right reason you can kill. So that's a higher principle. So that higher principle, you need better knowledge, you need to be better situated to apply that higher principle. Not everybody can think that I killed that person because I think in future he can become a nonsense to the world, therefore I killed him today only. No, that's not, that is sinful. So dharma interpretations are also complex. Sati Pratha is for a woman's honor, but it is more man-made. So we'll come back on that. Although I feel, what about governing authority? The society in the material world can't be governing authority. Engage someone like Sati. So Sati discussion we can take later. Yeah. So let's complete this section very quickly, and then we can we can probably catch up with the rest of the themes in the subsequent sessions. So any key learning, anybody, or and the key principle of any key learning and practical application of this knowledge of we are not this body, we are soul.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam, Prabhuji. So just to see with the means what we can learn from the practical world, or what, Prabhuji, in learning in sense in this case. If we see just the practical world, it is just like that we see so many people are dying in the this world, and still means how we can just differentiate it, that when the people are alive, they are doing every activity of theirs, and when he is dead, the body is still here, but the energy, the spark, or to which we know through Bhagavad Gita is soul, that is not remaining in that. So that automatically proves that actually the entity to which we call we is not this body, because this body after all remains here only, and this
No, what
goes
is the
nowhere.
how will you apply it in practice? What is the practical application for this?
In practice, actually, it can be seen that whatever kind of condition comes in our life, or be it the greatest danger, which is death, so we can remain equipoised, and by the shastras, when we come to know that uh, being spiritually more inclined, and being rather being following the scripture, the spiritual path, we should be more focused on that rather than building of the material consciousness and materialistic assets. We should try to build up our more and more spiritual progression in the life, for which this human form of life is meant for. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Do not over endeavor in for material gain.
Yes, Prabhuji. The incorrect, yes. Rather
Okay.
over endeavor for spiritual progress.
Okay,
We
over
can take
endeavor
it.
for spiritual progress, knowing fully who you are. Do not over endeavor for material gains, and without not by compromising, definitely by not compromising a spiritual life, but increasing endeavor in spiritual world, in the spiritual world. For okay, in increasing.
Compromising material needs, the
Another
basic
aspect,
needs.
Prabhuji,
Huh? Yes,
uh,
Prashant.
another aspect is we should not be bewildered whenever our near dear or anybody goes away, and because we can pray for his getting the out of material body, rather than what do you call, having too much of grief that person has gone or is there. So that gives us a strength by knowing this fact that is not that particular soul is not a body, it just move from one body to another body.
Okay, creating facilities for the body. Any other thought?
Hare
Yes, I
Krishna,
see two
Prabhuji.
hands raised. Yes, Swapnil, Chitra Mataji, and then Swapnil Prabhuji, and then come to you, Chandraman Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I'm
Yes,
audible.
yes, absolutely.
If one thinks that if we think this is a material body is permanent and there is no end, if we have end, that will be our last. And if we think that this is body which is not, that we should not give so much importance, then we will start doing we will take misuse, and we will start taking alcohol and etc., like which is not relevant, which is not stated in scriptures. If we think that the soul is eternal, and if we start giving more importance to soul, then we will stop doing unnecessary things. We will stop doing we will stop doing unnecessary things like drinking alcohol, smoking, going unnecessary movies, etc. If the Prabhuji, I'm not getting the right words, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So basically, if we get convinced that we are actually soul and we got nothing to do with this material world, then we will deal with this world only to the extent necessary and focus fully on the spiritual activities. Is that fine?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
So if we get convinced Okay, then that's fine. That's very nice, in fact. Because since we are in the material world, we will be forced to deal with the material world. We are all born as Indians. All of us are born in India, so we are all called Indians. So if we have Indian body in this lifetime, there are duties that are associated with India being an Indian. We all have to pay PAN income tax. We all have to pay. We all have to have certain identities, uh, and there are certain all Indians are expected to love their motherland, and on the they need to contribute to the cause of the protection of the motherland, and those so there are some basic duties that come as an Indian. Next birth, we happen to be in a Chinese body, then we will have similar duties in that land. So that starting with this, the at a bodily level, as long as we are in the body, there will be duties associated with that body. I could be born in a Maharashtrian family. I could be born in, and then there will be, I will be in a grahastha, in a varnashram. I will be in a grahastha ashram. So as a grahastha, I will have some duties. As a vanaprasthas, they have their duties. Sannyasis, they have their duties. So these duties will be there, associated. As long as we continue to be in the body, there will be duties. And how should we act? We should act only to the extent necessary and focus fully on spiritual life. So there is a primary and then there is a secondary. The primary is spiritual life, our relationship with Krishna, strengthening or working on our relationship with Krishna. That is primary. In our relationship, we need to love and serve Krishna. This is our primary focus of human life. Everything else is secondary. Everything else can come later. So we should do nothing in our material lives in such a way that it compromises anything on the spiritual life. We are forced to compromise anything on the spiritual life. There could be exceptions. For example, if if somebody is sick in our family and we need to give medical attention, we are in the hospital, we are not, and then those could be eventualities, could mean that we are not able to do our follow all our spiritual routine to the extent or exactly as we otherwise do. But those, barring those emergencies, the focus should be on for spiritual life rather, and then we should deal with the material life to the extent it is absolutely necessary. And how we strike this balance is by under guidance of devotees who are monitoring us, who are correcting us, because at times we will be on this side or that side. We will be tilting towards both these sides, and we will never be in perfect balance situation all the time. But we should, whichever side we tilt, we should correct ourselves, and that can happen only if we are guided by our proper devotees. Yes, Swapnil Prabhu, you have something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I think that today's topic is very, very intellectual and very touching when we talk about all that, talking about the punishments and capital punishments and all. My question is basically, as a Krishna devotee and also member of this society, are we more governed with the societal laws, or we are more governed as Krishna devotees? Because sometimes it becomes, whether in a dilemma, whether we should be more listening to the societal laws or we should be listening to our, our Krishna conscious thought process, which we have been going through.
Societal law means, example, if you can give.
Societal laws, you can say the legalities in the society has given its own laws and has created that a discipline that you should do, you should follow in a particular manner. Everything else doesn't matter. It should be as per legal or as per laws of the society.
So yeah, I'm staying on this. Yeah, staying on this point. There will hardly be I cannot think of a situation where there will be conflict in between what law society is giving and what Krishna consciousness will recommend or will request you to do. Krishna consciousness will request you to get up early in the morning. Now, no law exists that can stop you from doing it. There's not conflict. There's no conflict. It will ask you to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 16 rounds 108 times. Again, within your Indian Penal Code, each individual has sufficient rights under which they can chant. They can chant Coca-Cola, they can chant Pepsi Cola for 16 rounds 100 times. No stopping from anybody from doing this. Temples are built and temples can be visited. Dham are lost personal pastimes, places of personal pastimes. Those are visited. Those are freely visited. So prasad, you are all allowed to eat. Devotees are not fast starved unnecessarily. And so all devotees eat, cook nice bhoga using good ingredients, best of ingredients, because they want to offer it to Krishna. They offer it to Krishna. Krishna eats, remnants, devotees eats. Again, these are not, there cannot be, there is, I don't see a reason for any conflict between what you will do in Krishna consciousness and what a society will expect us to do. The conflict rather comes by through the relationships. So if you, a person unknown to you, if you're in the marketplace or if you're in the office eating your from your own tiffin, the prasad that you brought from home, and an unknown person sitting on the other side of the table is eating, probably he has purchased something from the canteen and could be chicken sandwich or whatever that he's eating. If you have, there's no conversation between you. If he's doing his part, you're doing your part, then practically there is no reason for conflict. The conflict starts when one start imposing one's own ideas on others. That's where the conflict starts. And that can happen in family, that can happen amongst friends, it can happen amongst relatives, and it can happen in office discussions where everybody is trying to impose laws or thought their ideas, their conceptions on another. Then this starts. So this is where the conflict will arise. Otherwise, I do not really see a reason why should there be any conflict as in you following Krishna consciousness. Now, when you take a leave, you may go to Vrindavan during your leave. Somebody may go to Switzerland, or somebody may go to some other place for vacation. Now, there cannot be any conflict per se in it. So I don't know if it has answered your question or you had something else in mind. Maybe society expects you to drink if you happen to go to a office party. Is that kind of a social etiquette that you're talking about when you will refuse to drink because you are following Krishna consciousness? Is that kind of a situation you're envisaging, or which situation that you have in mind?
Prabhuji, probably you are right. Krishna consciousness and societal laws are not making difference. What I was saying about is that the societal laws sometimes talk about, and it's been very strict also towards other religions, that we should be very, we should, the loudspeaker issues, what you know very much. The societal law says that, and the loudspeaker should not be used for something. And whereas in any case, it means that the others should not get disturbed because of your, your way of religion. So when you are talking, when you are doing your chanting and all in a flat or a society, probably many a times we think that is it that we are making quite a conscious chanting, and we are doing synchronous chanting along with my wife. So in that case, is it like there may be a chance that I may be asked that you are breaking the laws and all? In that case, it's a simple question. I mean, that was probably everyone will have those kind of issues. So in that case, I should follow the societal laws, right? Prabhuji?
So I'll give an example. We visit Pune often, and near to our home there is a center. ISKCON has a center in Vishal Nagar area. Vishal Nagar area is a bungalow in a residential locality. A small bungalow in a residential locality where there is a temple. Gaur Nitai deities are there. Very beautiful facilities there. But essentially, it is inside a residential complex. So in this temple, Mangal Aarti happens at 8 a.m. The the Bhagavatam class was there at 6:30 a.m. So all devotees, they finish their chanting first. In the normal ISKCON temple, there will be Mangal Aarti which will happen at 4:30, followed by Tulsi Narsimha prayer, Tulsi Aarti, and then Japa, and then the Darshan Aarti will happen at 7:15, followed by Guru Puja, uh, followed by Bhagavatam class, and the whole morning program starts at 4:30, ends at 9 o'clock, 9 or 9:30. And that's a typical temple. This is how a temple will function. But in the center, because it was a residential complex, the adjustment was done. Now, this is Pune. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about Bangladesh temple, where Dhaka temple, where this could be done. But this is Pune, and I'm talking about. But so, based on time, place, circumstances, there could be adjustments done. And so, this being a residential complex, our kirtans are all expressions, dancing expressions, singing expressions. We play murdunga, we'll play kartal, we'll play mridanga, and devotees will dance in the kirtan, and they will be joyous. But while they are in that celebrating mood, the other residential society members, if they object, then the suitable adjustments are done. It's not that we have to be strict with our schedule. If it's a temple, full-fledged temple, then this is much easily implemented. But if it is a center in a thick residential complex, residential area, then suitable adjustments can be made. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Prabhuji, my second question, I had put it in my chat box, was about capital punishment. Now, when we talk about capital punishment nowadays, laws itself is not accepting capital punishment. I think one of our devotees put up a question that self-proclaimed, he was in an act of self-proclaimed capital punishment, or he justified killing other people. Although it was a movie, in practical, sometimes it does happen like that also, but it is defined in societal law. He is defined as a freak. He goes freak, and he has killed people. So my question is that, is capital punishment by law according to Krishna sanction, or it is against Krishna sanctions? Is it in favor? Is Krishna sanctions allows that, or Krishna sanctions also opposes capital punishment? That was my question, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. So the capital punishment. So the suicide is an act of sin. Suicide is an act of sin, and that is where you're destroying a body which is supposed to live longer, which is not a natural death. The accidental death and also the death caused by others are as per karma. They are as per karma. It's not that now that is somewhere that is where you actually incur bad karma, sin, and then you will get similar reactions in your next birth. So that this is under the law of karma. The suicide is a act of destroying one's own body before it becomes due for destruction. Body will eventually get destroyed, but we are not allowed to destroy it beforehand. But so this is the difference between I think a similar question was there. So is that under law of karma, or is it outside law of karma? It's within law of karma. The capital punishment may be awarded by judge. So judge giving somebody a fasi, फांसी की सजा, and then by that फांसी his life is ending, his body is getting destroyed. Now that is as per karma, that is as per law of karma. And suicide is something misuse of free will, complete misuse of free will. But again, a judge writing a capital punishment for a criminal and I deciding and I killing somebody is a question of adhikar. The judge has a adhikar. Given the legal system framework within which he is operating, he has a authority to write that capital punishment. So when Krishna made all the warriors of his time assembled in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he had the authority to write this sentence, their death sentences, and he made everybody assemble there and kill them, so that the the bhar on the Bhudevi, Prithvi, can be lightened. And he was not satisfied. And he ultimately then killed his own Yadukul also before winding up his own pastime. He ensured that his kul also, they fight, they drink some Varuni Madira, they get intoxicated, they fight with each other, they kill each other, and they also go back to wind up their pastime and go back to their respective places. And then after having ensured all this, then Krishna wind up his pastime. So the Krishna has authority. He has the ultimate authority. A judge may have a small authority within which he may grant a capital punishment to a criminal. But Krishna has ultimate authority, using which he can it, with by his sanction, his this kind of punishments can be given. Life can be ended of the people. So he didn't intervene there. And when he wants, he intervenes. When the pastime requires his intervention, he intervenes. So when Parikshit Maharaj uh, was attacked by the Brahmastra in the while he was in the womb of his mother Uttara, Ashwatthama fired a Brahmastra, and that was not right time for Parikshit Maharaj to give up his body. So his body was meant for protection. So Krishna entered the womb and protected Parikshit Maharaj from that Brahmastra. But when Kali Yuga was to arrive, Kali Yuga had already arrived and now wanted to expand his reach in the kingdom of Parikshit Maharaj, which Parikshit Maharaj was not allowing to happen. He gave only 3, 4, 5 places to Kali to stay, and then he said, "Rest of the kingdom, don't trouble anyone." He said, "Nobody, but why will anybody come here? In your You are such a pious king and you are ruling in such a beautiful way. So I am not able to allure people to come to brothels and gambling houses and, purchase gold. They're not get fascinated by gold. So I am unable to spread my network. I am unable to spread my kingdom. And my time has come. And hence, Parishit Maharaj's pastime also has to be wound up. So he makes a small mistake for which he gets a big punishment. He makes a mistake of, he picked up a snake, a dead snake, and garland it in the Shringi Rishi's neck because he didn't pay attention to him when he came there searching for water and food. And then his son, Brahman son, gave him a said that you will die. You will Takshak snake will come and he will die. He will bite you, and that will be the cause of your death after 7 days. Now this curse was not counteracted by Parishit Maharaj or neither Krishna. Now Krishna allowed this curse to play, allow this curse to take place, and all the subsequent events to happen. The Shukadeva Goswami arrived, Bhagavatam was spoken for 7 days, 7 nights, and at the end of that time allotted, the Takshak snake actually comes. He bites Parishit Maharaj and he gives up his body in the presence of all the Vaishnavas and all the devotees, and they go back to Godhead. So it's ultimately Krishna's will and Krishna's sanction, and according to which everything else is happening, and we should allow it to happen it in that way. If we try to intervene, we have very limited authority, we have very limited freedom. Our freedom is very, very minute, but it exists, it is there. By our freedom, we can choose to counteract with Krishna's plan. We can like Bali Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu, that example we can think of. When Bali Maharaj, when Vaman Dev captured the whole universe in his 2 steps, he said, "You promise to pay, give me 3 steps land, and third step you don't have anything. So you're cheating me." And then uh, so Bali Maharaj realized obviously that he's Vishnu, and his now he had 2 choices. Two uh, he had choice. One was to align himself with the plan of Vishnu. Vishnu obviously has come for some plan. He has an objective. Vamandev didn't. He came out of nowhere, and he was such tejasvi. He had such tej and he's such a beauty that he even Bali Maharaj got mesmerized. He got attracted towards Vamandev, and so when he asked him 3 step land, he happily gave it. But then when he realized that he is Vishnu himself and he has some objective to fulfill, he will not go without completing his purpose. Then he decided to cooperate with Vishnu. In the contrast to this, Hiranyakashipu also saw Vishnu, and he came out of a pillar of his own palace when he broke that palace. Now obviously he saw Vishnu, and he saw Vishnu coming out of pillar. Not every not who comes out of pillar. A pillar, this was constructed, the palace was that of Hiranyakashipu's palace. Now that's palace was not when the palace was constructed, the pillar was constructed, there was no Narsimhadev that time. So he also know that if he has come, Narsimha avatar has come, he's practical. He with looking at him, even Hiranyakashipu understood that he's fulfilling all his conditions, because he had taken benediction from Brahma that no Nara will kill me, no animal will kill me. So he was half animal, half lion, and it was evening time was approaching, and he had nails, he didn't carry any weapons. So even Hiranyakashipu would have seen that Lord is coming out of the pillar is not a ordinary event. So if he's coming like this, he's coming for some purpose. But he did not cooperated with Lord. He had his own plans, so he fought with the Lord. He chose to fight a battle with the Lord, whereas Bali Maharaj surrendered to Lord and he played his part in the plan of Lord. Now that is the difference. As for what Bali Maharaj did, Bali Maharaj was awarded a kingdom, and Lord says, "I will personally guard at the gate of your kingdom in the Patala Loka." Whereas Hiranyakashipu, if I choose to fight a battle with the Lord, and then ultimately Lord had to, took him on his lap and perform open stomach surgery with his nails in the evening time, fulfilling all his conditions that he had taken from Brahma, and fulfill Brahma's words, protect Prahlad, and also, complete his pastime of Hiranyakashipu. So this is what Krishna's will is, and we should cooperate with that will. We should fight. If we choose to fight with this will, we lose. Our free will is very minute, and we should use this free will to cultivate a desire to cooperate with Krishna, not to go against Krishna. To cultivate a desire to comply with all his instructions given in Bhagavad Gita, not to keep questioning and finding ways and means of breaking those instructions, or not to say that I don't believe in those instructions, because those instructions have come from Krishna. Now they are meant for our benefit, and if we follow those instructions, we will benefit. We will misuse our free will to go against those instructions, we will suffer repeated birth in this world. So Krishna has given us a destiny. Our future is fixed. But if we want Krishna to change our future, Krishna can change that future also. Krishna know our future, but Krishna can change that future for our, if we so desire. So if we don't desire, he will let it come out, let it play out the way it has been planned, it has been programmed. But if we so desire, and if we prayerfully request Krishna to change it, he can change it for our betterment. Betterment in means not that from moving from 1 BHK to 2 BHK. That is not the betterment Krishna implies. His betterment, his concept of betterment is to make us better situated in spiritual platform, may complete constantly and remember Krishna, engage in his service, prepare ourselves better for going back to spiritual world and actually go there. That is our that should be our position. So we have two hands raised. Saloni, Harish Prabhuji, I think you also had a hand raised. I don't know if you're still there, but we can, yeah, Saloni Mataji,
Prabhuji,
if you
can
can.
I just take a lesson from this and tell something to you? A lesson from what?
We can hold it for last and we can complete that part later.
Okay,
Maybe
Prabhuji,
because
okay. Right, Prabhuji.
people can then leave the session as well, as almost 1:30. Saloni Mata, you have something to say?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Actually, in this material world, we have various dharmas to be followed. Like as a student, we have other dharmas, as a daughter, and moreover, also as a devotee, we have certain duties to be attained. So, how to maintain an equilibrium in all of these and attain all the things?
So while doing everything else, as long as you're not compromising on your spiritual life, uh, it can be considered as fine. But the moment you start compromising spiritual life uh, to do other things other than non-spiritual things, to take care of your material world, then that can be the question of concern. So this is where we strike balance. There's so the balance should be tilted towards spiritual activities, getting up in the morning and chanting. These are the basic spiritual activities to be performed. Hearing, attending classes, studying Bhagavad Gita, hearing classes on Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, visiting temple, visiting dham, being in association of devotees, taking instructions from devotees, taking corrections from devotees. This is spiritual activity, serving devotees, engaging in book distribution service, which is going on all around India, all around world. So serving Lord in his devotees in their mission. This is devotional activity. This is spiritual activity. To do this properly, we will need some level of stability in our material life as well. And for that, using our talents given by Krishna, using our skills which are given by Krishna, using the facilities of a good parent, good parenthood, nice parents, nice opulence that our parents might have had provided us, nice conditions that we all have, nice of you, nice physical body, good healthy physical body that we possess. Now all these are facilities given by Krishna. So using all these facilities, we should create a stable condition for ourselves so that we can practice spiritual life properly. So our material endeavors should help us perform spiritual practices peacefully. If we are too much disturbance on the material side, then our spiritual life also get disturbed. So deal with the material life to the extent it is required for us to focus on the spiritual life. Spiritual life, if that is getting compromised, then our material, then we are over endeavoring in our material world. We are engaging with people unnecessarily. We are doing things which are not required. So those endeavors will bring us sukruti, the basic endeavors will bring us whatever is there in our karma, whatever fame is there in our karma, whatever money which is there in our karma, whatever education that is there in our karma, whatever facilities which are there in our karma, those will come with endeavor. Over endeavor will mean that you're compromising on the spiritual life and spiritual practices. Now that should be avoided. And where is the distinguishing line between endeavor and over endeavor is something that is difficult to cite ourselves. So hence we should have devotee guidance, that when are we over endeavoring, when are we endeavoring. There is no, it's not a completely black and white information that is available. So hence we should have a devotee, a third person looking into our life. So our life should be open to devotees. and then only they will be able to guide us that Mataji, you are over endeavoring. This is enough. You've got this much sufficiently. Now you're over endeavoring, and that's not going to lead you to any success. So whatever is in your karma will come. Now that faith will come when we continuously talk with devotees and engage in a spiritual consciousness, spiritual practice. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to come. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can I take one question with you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
The chapter that subject that we were discussing about the soul and the body, actually the devotees having gone through this process of Krishna consciousness develop a kind of a maturity and understanding of the real thing in life, that body is something which can get destroyed, but the soul is not going to get destroyed. And likewise, there are so many other learnings which one gets adopted into the process of Krishna consciousness. But at the same time, he is living in a real world where his family or his colleagues or his friends, they are in a different level of spiritual understanding of these things. So the reaction of those with whom you are interacting day in, day out, or the relationship that you have with those people, they start sort of, having a different kind of questions on your relationship. I mean, that's what is visible. I mean, if the person is devotee and Krishna conscious, then he understands that ultimately it is all Maya, and then he doesn't really exaggerate more for achieving things in life, in office, or in becoming more ambitious or passion for doing a lot of work, this thing, sort of for achieving better material benefits. So then the person who's supervising him or the person who's managing him, he gets a develop a thinking that probably he's not really up to the mark, or he's not competent. And so what I'm trying to say is there is a mismatch in the journey of Krishna consciousness when he is having the relationship with other people around surrounding him. And then probably he either feels that he is left out in the world of Maya, and probably he is progressing well on spiritual life. So how to address this kind of dichotomy?
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for nice question. So, on the first level, the the devotee, when people leave their body, devotees understand these kind of events better, and they respond to such events in a much better way than the other people in the house or the family members. They could be panicking, and all those things are happening. So, devotees
Yeah,
understand
sorry to
that.
interrupt you, sir. In
Yes,
this,
Prabhuji.
I mean, even in that kind of a situation, I mean, the level of understanding, maturity demonstrated by a devotee versus the other people, then people are seeing it as in a totally different perspective. They
I'll come
think
to
that
that. Yeah.
probably
Yes.
he
He
has
has no
lost
affection. He had no affection
no
for that
affection or
person or
detachment.
whatever. Yeah. So yeah, we'll come to that. Nice point brought up. So so when a devotee is, see going through the similar event, and other people get bewildered, they they there is a big show of emotion. Some of it could be genuine, some of it could be a show, whatever be it. A devotee understand that this is also an event. This is also a transitioning event, a very important event in person's life. So a devotee will actually work to make that event successful for the person who is departing the body, giving up the body, and that his success will come by he remembering Krishna. So a devotee will try to give that remembrance of Krishna to a person who is about to leave his body. Now, whereas others will also try to will and it's not that devotee wants that person to everybody to leave his body, but there will be effort done to save the body, and that is very natural. But at the same time, if at all, because the saving will always not be possible. So if at all a situation arises where he has to give up his body, then at least he gets remembrance of Krishna. So devotees will actually give him more care than others who will only try to care for the body, not for the soul. So a devotee will give care to both a soul as well as the body. So that's advantage of or that's a better way of handling this event. How others will perceive it, yes, there will be a question mark that can come, but that's simply due to lack of knowledge. So one shouldn't really pay too much of attention to those things. Similarly, in the office environment, at workplace, where a devotee is endeavoring and others are endeavoring, there could be a difference that can be seen. A devotee is equipoised in success if and failures. However, a devotee is not lazy in his endeavors. So if he understand that for maintaining his family, he has to maintain the family so that the family can become Krishna conscious. He has to make certain arrangements for their maintenance. And for that, if he has accepted a work, devotee will do that work diligently. The devotees are not meant to become lazy. They're not skillless people. They're not they become devotee because they have nothing else to do. They're fit for nothing. They're good for nothing. So they will do their part diligently, and then they will immediately switch and move away from the workplace. So they will not do all other activities that a worker will otherwise do uh, for attracting attention of his supervisor, or for um, getting promotions, or getting doing all other things for which are other than work. Maybe those things a devotee will not do. Hang out with bosses in the parties, or take them to nice places, give them something, or trying to allure them, or trying to use all other tactics for getting promotion, getting new business, getting higher increments, and so on and so forth. So a devotee may not really be doing all this, but he will still be diligent in his work, and that is sufficient. So again, as long as he does his work diligently and um, continue to perform at the workplace, and also continue to perform his spiritual life, perform well at his spiritual life, there should be no conflict. And most of the devotees who work in office places actually are more productive, are more they're better communicative, they have more clear ideas, they have less confusion, they have better power to discriminate right from wrong. This they they stay less in gray area, they stay more in clarity, they operate more in clarity. They have more time at their hand because they would have gotten up at 4 o'clock or 4:30. So they are never running behind time, they are always ahead of time. And so there are some basic advantages that comes. They're truthful, their integrity is unquestionable. A devotee, nice devotee who doesn't even want to hurt anyone will obviously be a perfect gentleman. So there will be a high level of trust with such people. And that's integrity, that's so crucial. They will be truthful, they will be reliable, they will be dependable, they will be devotee worker, office colleague can be dependable, they will be responsible, they will be responsive, they will be so there will be so many wonderful qualities that get manifested once you choose to become a devotee. And they simply manifest because Krishna is there, and all these qualities are come because of the connection with Krishna. They will be less inclined to cheat, they will be less inclined to do wrong things or promote wrong things. They will be fearless because Krishna will protect, they will be speaking the truth. Where else we can find such wonderful qualities in some people? And so if our bosses are intelligent enough, they will value these things, and they will rather be promoting these things. So devotee per se doesn't become lazy person. It's not so if anybody is uh, if anybody goes to office and take out his bead bag and keep chanting during his office hours, and that is that is not proper behavior on part of a devotee. He should have finished his rounds in the morning and then goes to office, or whatever the balance rounds he's supposed to do, he should be doing it post work. So he should be diligent. There should be no question about diligent nature of to be demonstrated by the devotees. So I believe it still can be worked around this. I still don't see a lot of conflict. But obviously there could be conflict if a devotee is engaged in a butcher house as a head of CEO of a company who is selling meat or CEO of a company who is selling alcohol. Now those will be a direct conflict of interest kind of a situations where a devotee should not work in those situations, and he should rather be working somewhere else rather than accepting those positions,
No, but
even though
I
they
mean,
could be
sorry
lucrative.
to interrupt you. I mean, again, it is all depends on the culture of the organization, because what is valued there as an organization. Okay, on a spiritual level, on a high moral level, yes. And you use the word if the bosses are intelligent and understanding. If the bosses are also demanded by those kind of cultural demands, to create that kind of environment in the organization, then it becomes a singular person or a few persons who are devotees can get sidelined or isolated. That is what I was trying to see, how to survive for such people in a real world, where it is all competitive and people are drawing all kinds of things. You mentioned about how to please their bosses.
Correct. So there, yeah, I mean, let's not deny that there is no conflict at all. But with those conflicts also, those are, there cannot be unmanageable conflicts. So for example, this is a conflict that if I am offered a position of a manager at a butcher house, is a conflict because the whole activity itself is against the principles of dharma, principles of violence. So I should, as a devotee, I should not accept that position.
Right.
No, so then there's no conflict again, because I'm actually walking out of a situation where there could be a potential conflict. but but once that is done, once if I get into a situation where there will be appropriate work that is there for me, and if I do that diligently, I we don't see any per se reasons for a big conflict to arise from any other situations. But again, if at all there is a conflict, the spirituality should be given the priority. If at all there is a conflict, if the spirituality should be given the priority, and then we can take a decision. Devotee can take decisions based on that prioritization, and of course, he can consult a devotee who is guiding them.
Thank you very much, sir. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So Krishna, Prabhuji, then Krishna planned us to come to bhakti. Is it Krishna's plan? Yes, it's Krishna's plans that everybody should come to bhakti. When Krishna says in 10th chapter, 10th verse that tesham tesham satata yuktanam bhajanam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tvam yena mam upayanti te. It's a question of desiring. We should be desiring to be Krishna's devotee, and then Krishna can do something for us. Otherwise, we operate under a programmed way, in a programmed way. There is not much really we can do. Everything is predestined for us. But if we desire Krishna's intervention in our life, then Krishna will intervene. The ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham. We must desire this intervention, and that is our will. That is our free will. That is proper use of free will. If we do not desire, then we live a life of our destiny. We may get, do we come to bhakti because of destiny? We jana the sukrit, yesterday's Bhagavatam class, Prabhuji used a word from 7th chapter that if you have a sukruti, you have a better probability of getting connected with Krishna. You will find some attraction towards Krishna and his activities. Now, if you have dushkruti as contrast to it, you will have no interest about Krishna. There will be in the around Juhu temple, there are so many people who lives. Many of them would have never entered that temple. Not that they are Muslims or Christians because of which they don't enter. They could be Hindu, they could be born to Brahmin families, they could be uh, there could be normal people there, but they might they may never develop any interest or any attraction towards Krishna or his activities of his devotees. So it's possible that Sukriti help us get develop a little attraction towards Krishna, a little faith towards Krishna. Sukriti help us realize that there we are under somebody's control. Now this is a fundamental realization that must come to us before we could see who that person is under who is controlling us. If we never believe that I am in control of my life and whatever I want I can achieve, if I don't get it, probably I have not tried properly, or and there is nothing beyond nothing that I cannot do. There is nothing in this world. A lot of motivational speakers have these kind of a statements to tell you that there's nothing that you cannot achieve. And then they cite some example where a small humble background, a school dropout became owner of so and so billion-dollar company. So why you cannot do it? Now that this is all true, but it is also true that uh, uh, basically because if we don't have Sukriti, if we don't have that in our karma, a graduate can also, or a postgraduate can also lead a very, very pathetic life. So it doesn't, a school dropout become a billionaire doesn't mean that we should shut down all the schools, and a graduate, postgraduate, PhD person is not getting properly employed doesn't mean those degrees are all useless. So if this duality exists and function under the law of karma, so if it is in karma for somebody, it will come no matter he never went to school. If prosperity has to come to him, it will come searching for him. If suffering has to come, because if you don't have job, you probably are not earning enough, not earning enough to feed yourself twice and your family, which means there is suffering at material level, and that can come even after becoming a PhD or a postgraduate or some studying very hard. You may not able to get what you deserve. So it's all in our karma. If we're all in the under the influence of law of karma, but desiring to become a devotee, that is in our free will. So we should desire. Desiring is in our free will. There is a separate theme on desire, which where we will discuss a lot of verses which speak about this particular theme. That will come probably in the subsequent sessions. Okay, I have still 33 listen, 33 devotees left. So sorry to have extended it beyond our usual time of 1 p.m. So I'll end today's session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying back and contributing with all your questions and wonderful comments. I'll try and complete the Excel file and we'll share it with the larger group. We'll continue with this journey of revising, taking a look back at our Bhagavad Gita learning so far. We'll explore some more themes and explore, try to get some more learnings and more practical more tips for practical application in our day-to-day life. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great Krishna conscious week ahead. Hare Krishna, and we'll meet in New Year on the New Year day at on 1st January 2023 with more determination, stronger determination to learn from Bhagavad Gita and apply Bhagavad Gita in our day-to-day life. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.